Hey everyone, it's Lily here and we are talking D.Energy today. I am super excited, but also just going to take a deep dive into the space, what's going wrong in the industry, if there's any positives at all, we don't know yet. And yeah, we want to find out about who you are and how you got into the space and what you're trying to solve, really. So let's start with, who are you?
Well, first of all, thank you for having this time to sit with me. I'm Shafi, founder and CEO of D.Energy, the first layer 1 blockchain to be powered by renewable energy. And we are pioneering the RWA space for layer 1 blockchains, specifically to do with renewable energy.
RWA, that's such like a trigger word that everyone uses. It's been going around the space for, seems like forever now. How are you doing things differently? How are you positioning yourself in that space that you're actually gonna do what you're saying that you're gonna do?
So rightly so, RWAs is like a trigger word right now. I think in the previous cycle it was NFTs, right? And then now NFTs are like kind of metamorphosized into
just don't talk about
RWAs. Yeah, it's like it's a swear word now. Don't mention NFTs. It's RWAs, and essentially RWAs is the same thing. It's a real world asset. It's a unique how do you say? It's a unique token that can be assigned to a real world asset. It is a buzzword, but it's definitely something that could revolutionize blockchain. And that's why you see so many people jumping on the bandwagon. You see so many projects coming and claiming to be RWA this or RWA that. We've seen a few rug pulls, Mantra, you know.
Okay, tell me about Mantra. Let's talk about this. What happened?
Well, I mean, who's to say? What I can say is that someone cashed out big. You know, someone really, you know, pulled that rug. But I would say it's a shame, because when you see projects that are getting traction and have, you know, the fundamentals seem to be in the right place for them to act this way. And it just really adds to the whole controversy of crypto and this space, a blockchain space. And definitely what we're doing, because we are an RWA chain, that has an impact on us. It puts us under scrutiny as well. So I'm not very happy about that, but in a way I am kind of happy that all of the fluff is being cleared off. All of the kind of wrongdoers or the people with bad intentions that are coming here to ride a wave and cash in on it, they're all going to get wiped out. Hopefully they'll get wiped out without taking people's money, but it seems to be something that is a trend now, where they keep popping up, these rug pulls. RWAs, from my perspective, it's simple. It's a real world asset. What's a real world asset? Anything you can own in the real world. And how do you tokenize that? So when people talk about property being tokenized, I think that's the buzz one, right?
Yeah.
Property, this developer is going to tokenize this energy working with this blockchain or whatever. It's not so simple. Because property is property, and then it has to have a local municipality, it has to be a local government approved. There's a land registry. Every country's land registry works different. Everyone has a different process. In the UK, it's one way. In the United Arab Emirates, another way. So for people to come and make these bold claims that we are an RWA chain doing property or doing this and that, you know, there is certain stages that need to be passed in order for that to be achieved. And I find, you know, people's early adoption of these things without really understanding the dynamics of what's required, it's a bit naive on behalf of the investors. I would say we will see more RWA projects pop up. My project in particular, D.Energy, what we're building is specifically to do with energy, renewable energy. And renewable energy is something which the governments have kind of assigned to like the UNFCCC, for example, came up with a framework for renewable energy certification. So every time energy gets produced from the sun, solar, wind, hydro, whatever, from a renewable source, a certificate's issued to the producer of that energy. So this framework exists. And with the Kyoto or the Paris Accord for 2050, net zero by 2050, people are incentivized to buy these certificates. There isn't too much friction in terms of buying these assets. So tokenizing these assets with the right licensing and with the right kind of setup is possible. And I would say that I probably think we would be the first RWA chain that actually has achieved this.
I was just about to say, do you have any competition out there? Why is no one else doing this?
There are some people working with these sort of assets on chain. They kind of look at these assets more of an add-on, whereas we're looking at this as the fundamental fuel for our economy that we're building. D.Energy is a layer 1 blockchain that requires renewable energy to fuel it. We're building something that we've tagged, or we've labeled the energy-backed economy. So anything that takes place in D.Energy's economy is backed by energy and renewable energy. It gives it a solid foundation for commerce. It gives it a solid foundation for people to engage with, because natively within our application or our wallet, you can trade renewable energy peer-to-peer. So there is a hands-on use case from the get-go, and we are dealing with real-world assets. So to go back to your question of real-world assets, the buzzword, yes, but is anyone really delivering? I think we'll see more and more people able to get it across the line, but always I would say to people looking to invest, do your research.
Of course, yeah, Dior. And in terms of your token as well, can you explain a little bit about how this is going to work? There's thousands of tokens coming out every day. We have our OG being Bitcoin that everyone knows. What's your token doing differently?
So the whole way our coin is minted, or we say generated, because electricity is generated, it's through the production of renewable energy. Our blockchain requires for our nodes, validators, to stake renewable energy in the form of an RWA, which is a tokenized energy certificate. And these will sit with the validator or the node until we reach the end of an epoch, an energy epoch. So our system is not time-based. The coins come at the end of any. Once we've hit a certain amount of energy consumption, we are then activating the offsetting mechanism. It's like a token generation event. This is an offset generation event. So when an offset takes place, what coins are generated, and what coins are generated and distributed to the people who have offset the energy for the operation of the blockchain. It's very complicated.
I mean, it sounds incredible, but then if you're going to compare tokens, so we've got all these tokens out there, how does your token compare to Bitcoin?
So Bitcoin, for example, is mining. Requires computers to run algorithms, burn through electricity in order for a token to be generated. At the end of every block or whatever, the person who's completed that block will get rewarded with a Bitcoin. Our system, we actually labeled it, we've come up with the term inverted mining. So what does inverted mining mean? Besides using resources, we're adding resources to the climate. So the energy grid will receive 1,000 times more energy than we used in order for our coin to be minted. So we don't just offset one-to-one. So every megawatt of energy that D.Energy uses, 1,000 megawatts of energy gets offset, meaning that it's more energy than has been used is being added to the environment, to the electricity grid. So that gives it an underlying value. Unlike most coins, which are literally just minted out of thin air, we are offsetting 1,000 megawatts of energy to produce what coins. So the kind of value is the price of energy, renewable energy today, would kind of impact the price of what coins.
So what's the utility then of something like Bitcoin? If you're saying about your utility, does it actually have any utility?
So Bitcoin has been considered digital gold, right? Digital gold because it has a capped supply. There'll only ever be 21 million Bitcoins. And because of that, it's been given this whole kind of image of digital gold. I beg to differ. I would say it's not necessarily digital gold. It's digital currency that is capped, but it's not backed by gold. So it can't be considered digital gold. Actually, Bitcoin could be the biggest rug pull of them all. I mean, controversial, but it's true. Bitcoin, we don't know who's behind Bitcoin.
No, we don't.
Okay, it's not a docs project. We don't. The Genesis block, the first wallets that got funded, we don't know who's controlling these wallets. It's a real gray area when it comes to Bitcoin and where it originated from. Everyone has a different story. But yet we're seeing the price of Bitcoin outperforming every other asset class. We see major institutions like BlackRock supporting it without knowing the fundamentals of where it came from. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a bit suspicious to me. Like, to see major mainstream infrastructure financial companies involve themselves with something like Bitcoin and they don't know the originator of it, who brought this out, where did it come from, who's holding the biggest. I think Satoshi's wallet is meant to have, I don't know how many $1 billion sat in there. Who's controlling that wallet?
Is that not the idea of decentralization though? Something like Bitcoin's decentralized?
Yeah, I mean, decentralized in the terms of there are loads of computers across the world sharing this ledger. It's decentralized, but is it decentralized? Is it anonymous? No, it's not anonymous. You have a wallet. Every wallet is traceable. You can see every transaction that's gone into your wallet, that's gone out of your wallet. And if I'm a government entity, I can just simply look at your IP address and saying which IP address is connecting to which wallet. I know how much money you're holding, who you've sent money to, and how much you've received. So it's not anonymous and it's decentralized, but I feel like decentralized is this like word that we're using to just blanket cover everything, where it doesn't. There's an element of decentralization in it, but is it fully anonymous, decentralized? I would say no. Who's to say, Bitcoin has no value with some shocking news or, with some, a series of events, Bitcoin's value could go to zero. Mm-hmm. People are jumping on board like it's, the next best thing. And I'm a firm believer in Bitcoin. It's been one of those kind of gateway technologies that's leading us into the next evolution of what the planet will look like in terms of finance. But is it the final piece? I don't think it actually is. I think it's part of the journey. And I would say invest in Bitcoin, but invest understanding that it's deriving its value through people and through supply and demand. And that demand, if governments intervene or if anyone has any kind of negative impact on it, that value could go to zero. It started at zero. And
that's what tech's all about. It's about evolution. And I even said that when we saw Ethereum move from proof of work to proof of stake. It's an evolution. It's the 2.0 of Ethereum.
It makes sense.
Yeah. What's then next? That's, I think, a huge issue with Ethereum, and why we won't see the prices climbing too much is there's new things that can come out all the time that's better than Ethereum. So even though if Bitcoin has this hype, there is always something new coming. So is D.Energy something like that alternative?
Yeah, so I think D.Energy is definitely the alternative. What coins? It's not entirely capped, but it's kind of capped in terms of we'll never get to the final epoch. The energy consumption required to hit the final epoch will never reach that. So in that way, it's kind of capped, and that's been Bitcoin's biggest draw. The fact that it's capped. There'll never be more than a certain amount. Ethereum's problem is the fact that you can continually produce more Ethereum. Yeah. Ethereum's not capped. Ethereum's price right now is transactions on chain.
And people are moving.
And exactly, yeah. So this is what gives it its kind of traction is the fact that it has smart contracts. It has all of these applications, and you have your diehard community that believe in it. But the way the tokenomics work, it really can't ever become that kind of investment like Bitcoin is. Mm-hmm. And I don't believe a cryptocurrency necessarily needs to be something that goes to $1 million per coin. That's not necessarily. I think people have got caught up in these kind of early technologies that came and had these big price increases and feel like that's the game. But really, I think the game or the ultimate end game to all of this is actually having a real qualified replacement to the current economic financial setup that the world engages with, that's providing people with the tools they need to live, instant settlements, instant payments, no intermediaries. These are the things that draw people in. It's good to be able to feel that I control my own assets within my own kind of wallet. I have no bank manager that's going to tell me you can't withdraw your funds or you can't do this. These are the appealing factors. So I feel like those being carried over into a project that actually can benefit the planet like ours, mm-hmm. It really has a chance of actually making a change.
Yeah, I find that when people talk about token prices, it's like actually disconnect from that a bit, understand blockchain, understand technology, and what is that project actually trying to do? And you're trying to do good in the world. Absolutely, you're trying to have a positive impact. So it's not just about the price, it's actually about ultimately you helping the planet, which is a way bigger goal than someone just earning money.
Yeah, and not just helping the planet, giving the power back to the people, literally giving power back to the people. Because at the moment, who controls your power? You don't even know. You're not buying your power, you're renting it. Mm-hmm. You're paying some electric company
a lot of money,
and you don't know what they're paying. There's no transparency.
No.
And this is the most fundamental resource of this era is electricity. And the fact that we're not really, I mean, the electricity grid's outdated in most countries.
Yeah.
You know, in the UK, in America, it's really running on ancient like electrical poles and like centralized energy production, delivering energy at high voltages down, you know, across the country, and it's a really old system. Like right now, with the world we live in, every kind of energy should be decentralized. Every community should have their own energy mix. They should have their own localized energy production. It's far more efficient, and it will be far more lucrative if we tap into that kind of dynamic and that kind of economy than what we're currently working with.
It's interesting you say that, because I like to explain our space a little bit. Like, we've lived in a stone age, an iron age. We are now in the very early stages of a digital age. Absolutely. This will be. And what pioneers that is electricity.
Absolutely,
fundamentally. We talk about AI, blockchain, but all of it is energy consumptive, and that's really what you're tapping into, which is a very unique space, because as we are early in this, and then your project coming in, this could help to grow this era for a much longer time.
I mean, that's the whole point. It's like, for AI to really reach its full potential, you need to have an accompanying technology that doesn't allow it to damage what we've already managed to save on this planet. You know, we've already had, you know, an era of drilling and an era of fossil fueled finance and fossil backed economies, and I believe that's now it's out of date. And governments are just holding on to cash into the last penny that they can from that old dynamic before, you know, the new system that resets and a new system starts. And do we want to leave it to the hands of the governments to be able to, you know, dictate what the next iteration of finance or economy should look like? Or should we take it in our own hands and actually put our initiative and use the funding that we have to buy our own assets and resources like electricity? You know, living off grid right now, it's not possible in certain parts of the world. You know, if you want to go and be completely isolated and have your own energy production and your own kind of water facilities and everything to be disconnected from any utilities or any government run companies, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. And that to me doesn't make any sense. It's like, we're living in a world right now where people should be able to have that independence. And protocols like ours allow that. You know, you could have a rig mining or generating watt coins that would essentially fuel your life. You will be living off that energy, and you could potentially, you know, give some of that energy to your neighbors and charge them for it and make money for it. So what we've kind of put together, we put together 3 different technologies: blockchain, finance, and I would say energy. Combining those, synergizing those 3 together, it could be the main impetus for the next kind of digital revolution, as you said.
And it really is. And in terms of government, let's have a little bit of a chat about Trump. Obviously, he's pro-crypto for various different reasons. But how about, like, in terms of energy? Because I know he does have this mindset less about renewables, maybe.
Yeah, he's completely against the whole climate thing. And to me, it's not even an argument of climate. It's an argument of progress. Like, surely, with all the progress we've seen in every industry, why hasn't the energy industry left fossil fuels behind? Why are we still so reliant on it?
He's thinking about here and now, though, right? He's very much a businessman that's like, this is what we're doing right now. He's not thinking about the future, but he needs to.
Absolutely. I mean, drill, baby, drill. You know, that's a great sentiment and it's a great tagline, but what does it mean? It means trillions or billions of dollars being funneled back into, you know, excavating resources from the planet that is going to have no benefit to future generations, and it's a resource that's going to be depleted. So surely those billions of dollars are better assigned to emerging technologies and into developing you know, freedom from fossil fuels. And we have it all there. The framework's there, the technology's there. It's just lacking the investment. It's lacking the right investment. Net zero by 2050, I think they put a price tag of $4.5 trillion annually needs to be invested to hit that goal. I think at the moment it's about $1.5 trillion annually is being invested into renewables and into carbon reduction and things like that.
It's a big market you're tapping into.
Massive market. That's massively underfunded. It needs to grow another $3 trillion to reach the goals that the governments have set out. And they're still looking at, continuing the cycle of pulling out oil from the ground and oil itself is like, it's been a fantastic product that we've been able to really evolve mankind. Humans have been able to benefit from all of the byproducts of it, and it will always have a place in society at some point. I think it will always serve its purpose, but for it to be the main energy source in 2025 doesn't make sense for people to be investing in that kind of ancient technology when we're about to go digital. Everything's going digital.
And it doesn't allow for this different world that we can imagine. When people think of the future, it's flying cars, it's this crazy digital space, thinking about the Matrix. None of that is possible without having sustainability.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot go from autonomous vehicles to AI to robots in your home to all of these kind of technology. You cannot go there without a solid energy infrastructure. I think everyone knows the US electricity grid's outdated. Across Europe the infrastructure is outdated. It needs serious investment, and that investment needs to come from somewhere. So besides benefiting people by upgrading the facilities, I feel like there's a whole economy there that it's just being overlooked.
And you're tapping into
I mean, it's inevitable. If it's not me, if it's not D.Energy, it will be someone else. We are inevitable. Energy-backed economy is inevitable because that is the biggest resource. The currency of a digital world should be renewable energy because that's what powers it.
I mean, that is an exciting future to think about. And then for D.Energy, what's happening right now? What are you seeing coming up in the future? Where are we?
So we have a lot of exciting plans for the future. Right now we have completed our testnet phase. We are imminently entering mainnet. We're having audits done and we will have a public sale for our token in the coming month. And then the next stage is the announcements of different partnerships which we've secured and deploying more technology to support our ecosystem.
And how can people find out more? So we've taken like an overall opinion of what's happening in the space and in terms of energy, but how can people stay up to date as well?
Our socials, we have Discord, we have Telegram, we have X. So within any of our community channels to engage, there's always someone on hand to help. We have all our resources on our website, white paper, our manifesto. And just stay tuned, stay engaged, and we'll have a lot of updates coming soon.
That is exciting, and hopefully we can have more chats about what's happening with D.Energy.
For sure. I mean, we are in a stage right now where I think we're about to hit another bull run. It looks like all the signs are there for a bull run, and I think it's a good time for us to launch. As I said, we've been developing this for 3-4 years behind closed curtains. We're finally ready to come out and show the world what we've created, and I think now is a good time.
I think why not now? I think that's the question that everyone should be asking. And in terms of crypto, it's the space to be in. We're in the place to be in as well, being in Dubai. So I'm excited. I can't wait to hear more.
Yeah, it's going to be a good bull run. And I think as you mentioned, Dubai being such a crypto-friendly and a progressive society, it's a very good testing ground for what we've built. And electricity consumption here is quite high. For the small geographic area that they cover, the energy consumption is quite high, so it's going to be fun. Yeah,
this is going to be kind of like your spot of seeing.
Yeah, it's our testing ground. We've developed the technology out here. We will be live internationally, obviously, the blockchain. The energies that we support will be GCC, international regions, India, China, Japan, all the emerging countries, and then we're slowly going to be adding European and American energy into the mix.
I like that because people start with this crazy huge idea. That's when you kind of know there's something wrong. When they're saying everything and actually they can't have a proof of concept, whereas this is what you're doing. You're going to be able to showcase to the world what you can do.
Yeah, so the infrastructure, like I said, in these countries, because renewable energy hasn't been such a big factor in the Middle East or in GCC countries because energy is generally quite cheap out here. oil producing countries generally don't have the issues that, say, European countries have with energy prices and supply. But it's a good testing ground because renewable energy is something that's on the agenda. They have massive solar facilities out here. They have massive renewable energy production sites across the Middle East. And being able to use these certificates and tokenize them and bring them on chain and actually show that our ecosystem can actually make a difference will just help gain traction and be able to really deliver the product and deliver the project.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with me, explaining, taking a bit of deep dive, being very open as well.
It's
so
been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, I'm really excited to watch this space and see what's coming.
I'm looking forward to our next chat where we can talk about it post mainnet.
Yeah, I can't wait. Thank you so much. Awesome.
Great.